Okay. Okay. So, welcome to the VOD review. I think we have Sind on Anubis, and I'm pretty sure this will be a Zarya. Maybe it's Widow. Who knows? I don't know. Fast. Yeah, I can't. I can't fast forward at all. Is this not on the NA server? Interesting. All right, but yeah. So this is Diamond. Actually, this is 3.2 MMR or 3.2K SR. I really want to fast forward, please. I don't think the thumb... Oh, wait. What? This does not match. Okay, this website sucks. Okay, so we're on Anubis. Typically, this is a very tough nut to crack. Okay, a good Maywall. Alright. How do you... Can I leave? Alright, I can at least pause. So, I can't go back though. This is going to be really hard to review. Alright, so basically, if your team doesn't already know to walk through to one side or the other, then do it. Give them the comms, give them the knowledge that they need in order to succeed. Bury your Reinhardt there. You did. You waited until after he pinned, which is okay. I will bury our Reinhardt as he's charging, though. The reason that I do that is so that your Reinhardt doesn't get hooked. If he gets hooked, he's kind of screwed. So I do typically do it before, so it's guaranteed that we at least get the pin on the enemy Reinhardt. Sometimes what'll happen is you'll bury your Reinhardt, the other Zarya will bury her Reinhardt, and it's kind of like a stalemate, except for their Reinhardt, or both Reinhardts are out of position and more or less out of the fight. So in that regard, everybody's in the clear. I don't know. Okay, tracking's not too bad from what I see. Okie dokie. You're welcome, man. Alright, so you capped that really quickly. Basically, the enemy team, like, your Reinhardt charged in, and there's nothing that the enemy team could do. You have, in the span of the last second, 2 reliable sources of getting energy. You have a Reinhardt Fire Strike, which you had seen coming from around the corner because you have your light options set properly, which is awesome. I love to see that. And you also have Pharaoh Rockets. So between those two, you should be getting energy and not getting hurt. Like you can still hear it. That Pharaoh is still shooting her rockets. So you're good to like eat the spam, basically. And again, a little bit more spam there. If a Genji is backflipping over your Reinhardt, you can toss him a barrier. It removes a little bit of pressure. Generally speaking, I really so in this meta, Ana wants her team to get hurt in order for her to build ult, because her ult is absolutely OP and insane. However, there's some characters that you don't want to give any damage to, like a Genji. His ult is just extremely effective. So try to allow you and your team to get hurt, but then healed by Ana from people other than Genji. I guess Zarya wouldn't be too bad, because it takes her a while to get her ult. D.Va wouldn't be too bad. Lucio wouldn't be terrible. So on and so forth. Alright, so you're pushing last. This Pharah is giving you a ton of trouble. You actually have high ult percentage. You have your barriers. You just get one to Reinhardt, so that one's gone, but he used it. He was taking damage, so that's great. You have high energy. So I would suggest, if this Pharah continues to be a problem, like she just got a kill, start like targeting her down. In this like part of the map, your beam is long enough that you'll be able to reach to kind of wherever she is. work on the right clicks a little bit more. It takes time. They're projectiles, like they're true projectiles. They're not just rockets. In case you don't know, there's two kinds of projectiles. There's rockets and true projectiles. Imagine the difference between Pharah and Junkrat. Rockets go in a straight line. They just take time to get to their target. So, alright, Reinhardt needs a lot of help. I don't know if you have an Ana. You kind of like almost LOS'd a little bit. I can't tell. I'm gonna try to see. So you have a May 76, Reinhardt, yourself. I'm not even gonna comment on the. Okay, actually I will. I'll comment on that. So if you guys didn't catch it, the ult was reflected, as you're seeing in chat. Let me break down the situation that happened there. If I can go back to just the right time. Okay. Alright. So, you know they have a Genji. You know they have a D.Va. So, first mistake. If the Genji wasn't going to reflect that, the D.Va was going to eat it. Guaranteed. So, can I step back again? Okay, I hate... Okay, in the future, your VOD must be on YouTube. And 1080p. I don't like 720. So... Okay. So the Genji jumps in front of your team and he starts reflecting. Your Graviton wouldn't really have hit anybody. Maybe you would have gotten the Lucio. You might have pulled the D.Va over. But if she has a good reaction time, she could have flown away. If not, have just deleted your ult. Oh my gosh, one sec. Excuse me. Okay. So yeah, basically, don't Graviton like this. Generally, I'll wait until Genji reflects. And then I'll shoot the Graviton off in a random direction. You can typically shoot right at the ground as Zarya with your ult, and D.Va can't delete it. Use that to your advantage. I've been tilted many times playing D.Va, trying to delete a Zarya's ult, and I trace, you know, where Zarya is the entire time, and the ult still makes it onto the ground. That is a definite strength for Zarya. I don't really know what's going on there. It might be tick rate. Not really sure. But yeah, unfortunately, you get reflected. The Pharah combos. Feels bad, man. Everybody's tilted. Oofda. So your first push into last didn't really work out all that well. I'm gonna start calling Anubis the Forbidden Fortress or something. It's just hard to get. It's just hard to cap. It really is quite difficult. Eat those rockets. Use your barrier. You've taken like 200-300 damage at this point. You finally use your barrier to get 50 energy, which is good. I wouldn't worry about the Lucio so much. I would say you're generally like either you're not gonna hit him or he's not gonna hit you. So it's kind of like, and when you do damage to him, like you're gonna do maybe 80, and he heals himself up for, you know, 5 seconds and he's fine. So. Oh, wow. Okay. Alright. So, there's a lot of stuff going on. That Reinhardt just dove the enemy team. He forced the Zenyatta ult. Rip. There are so many ults being burnt right now. Alright, let's take a moment to think about this stuff. Alright, so you're re-entering. I need to not gripe about small mechanical errors. I know. Maybe I do. But there's like overall like strategy, like that fire strike, you could have barriered that, and that's 50 energy for you. You'd be sitting at right now, actually you'd be at 100 energy instead of 65, 70, 80. You'd be at 100. So every little bit of energy you can squeak out is fantastic. However, at this point in time, it's not really worth using your personal barrier unless you absolutely need it. I And I think you use it to protect against the Pharah. You do. Okay. So it's kind of like a bad situation. You wanted to barrier the Pharah, but she goes down right away. If you had kept your barrier, you would have been able to live through the Mei ult and the D.Va ult and help your team. The D.Va ult would have only gotten one person, so it's kind of like a tough situation. I probably would have tried to take one more Pharah rocket. Like, I would have at least looked at her. If she's still shooting rockets at me, I'll pop my barrier. I might actually just run down and get the health pack that's under the bridge where you are right now. I don't know. Okay, yeah, that Genji's going for another reflect ult. It's pretty annoying. I've had a bunch of my ults reflected. Like, I haven't had an ult reflected in months, except for like 2 days ago. Seriously, like you just get to a point where your ults like just don't get reflected. Takes time, takes patience, and sometimes honestly there's a perfect ult, but it's just not possible for you to get a safe graviton in. So it can be entirely frustrating too, without a doubt. So your Reinhardt, or did their Reinhardt just ult? I think that was yours. He just died? I don't really know. Either way, it's really like, it just takes time. Like that's something that makes a good Zarya, is your ult building. Sorry, your ult placement. Your ult building helps too. It's just, that's just doing damage. So you're at 97 right now. 90. I'm at 93. Okay, actually, this quality is really low. I thought it was 97. Okay, so you're sitting at 60 energy, which is not bad. Your barriers, if used a little bit more effectively, could have helped you out. Okay. I'd like to say that tracking a Pharah when she's directly overhead of you, or a Genji, or anybody that can get over your head, is very, very difficult. So don't feel bad about having bad tracking on that. Obviously, keep working on it, but with time, work on tracking a Pharah as she's above you. At worst, you could try to shoot your right click at like walls that are close to the Pharah, and it'll help you at least give her, if not like make it easier to track because she's moving in a predictable location, it'll like push her around a corner, and then maybe she'll be able to, or maybe she'll be prevented from shooting at your teammates and stuff. Perfect. That's just, like, sometimes you just have to wait for the Pharah to run out of rocket power. That sucks. Okay. So, let's... oh god, I hate this site so much. Where are we? Okay. Alright. So you pop your barrier, you get the kill on Pharah. Fantastic. You move up. You could also grenade jump up from the ground. So you pop your barrier. And I didn't really see a good ult there, but you got like 5 people. So maybe it's just the quality of the recording. I'm not seeing anything too crazy. Okay, Pharah. Hello. Welcome back to the game. You should be further up, closer to the spawn, and actually like dealing with the people that are coming out. Like sometimes I will literally sit at the door of the spawn, like dealing damage to everybody that walks out, because they either deal with me and don't go to point, or they go to point and they get damaged and I can shoot at them very easily and reliably. It's another time, like I talk about this all the time, but always be forcing the enemy's hand. Like you have to force them to choose between bad and worse. You sitting on point, it's an easy decision. The enemy goes to point. But if you're sitting like on the other side of the path, like, okay, so spawn is right here and point's right here, and they have to go down and then take a turn and go to the point. If you're right here and you're shooting at them as they come out of their spawn, they can fight you or they can go to point. And that's another case of forcing an enemy hand. Okay, D.Va's out of her mech, Reinhardt's dead, D.Va gets knocked down. This is pretty much a 1 point for you guys, I think. Was that their drop the beat? Or was that yours? Whichever it was, I don't think you got any. Good kill on the Zenyatta. Sometimes it's better to deal with a DPS. Okay. Okay, buddy. Easy. Easy with the Gravitons. So that was, like, not really near anybody. I think I kind of want you to deal with this D.Va differently. Is this far back enough? Yeah, it is. It's actually really far back. Okay. So you get a nice right click on the Zenyatta. Awesome. This D.Va chases you. So basically, you can pop your barrier, and you could... Shoot, I meant to get the health of that D.Va. Yeah, okay. So you pop your bubble. You can... I don't know if this Lucio got his sound barrier on the D.Va, but you could probably have killed that mech suit. If you had killed the mech suit, I would have dropped my Graviton exactly where I stood, getting the Lucio and the D.Va. Following up with some right clicks would kill them both. They're very small targets that are easy to miss. Putting a Lucio and a D.Va in a Graviton when you're trying to clear up a point like as fast as possible, perfect. But you launch it towards the middle of the point. Interesting. Evidently that D.Va got an ult on her mech. That sucks. Because you'd almost killed that thing too. And if you had killed it in that cubby hole, D.Va had the choice of using her ult in there to get her mech back as fast as possible, or just dying. And having to regenerate her mech suit. Either way, force an enemy hand. You feel me? Anyway, you've got like 3 golds, so well done. I don't know what your average energy is though. 65. Okay, I saw it. It was 65. So I'd say like these are pretty good stats. I think that you're targeting, like work on your targeting. Like make sure that you're shooting at the right stuff at the right time. You know, if a Pharah is shooting at you, but a Zenyatta is right in front of you, you kind of need to shoot the Pharah. I know that Zenyatta is a juicy target. But Pharah is just going to be more harmful to you in the long run. You can get a little bit closer. You've got some healers behind you. You can be shooting at that D.Va mech and forcing her back. Hello, Reinhardt. Okay, not bad. You used audio cues to find out what was going on the left side. You shifted over to help your teammate. You guys have 2 ticks on the point, so this should be a one point for you very quickly. Good tracking on the the D.Va, sorry. Not bad. And I got to deal with the Genji. Oh, there's an enemy Reinhardt in. Stand on that. Okay. So you were at like 50 health, and your soldier drops his biotic field. Go stand on that. That's going to give you like... I think it gives exactly 200 health over the course of its duration. Let's say that it was down for half its lifetime. I don't know. It'll give you 100 health, and by the time that thing is giving you 100 health, your shields will have regenerated yourself like 20, 30 health. So stand on the biotic field. Just do it. So this is kind of the part where it's really frustrating and honestly a struggle. The enemy team is just being enough of a nuisance where it's hard for you to deal with them. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. It's always really, really frustrating to go down as a Zarya when you're fighting on Anubis Last. Especially when you're high energy. You're like one of the best characters for that situation. Like Zarya is good at constantly brawling, constantly, you know, shutting down enemies and forcing them away, pushing them away from points. Okay, I got really scared there. I thought you were going to Graviton over the top. I've done that a number of times. It's a good thing you didn't do that. Alright. So you're kind of getting down to crunch time right now. Oh, God. You're close to an ult. If you... Oh my god. That sucks. Alright. So basically, don't feel bad about dying to the Pharah. Basically, you guys were pressured for time. You got charged by your Reinhardt kind of out of the blue. And, he's kind of took you by surprise, and that's how you died on the point, which is really unfortunate, but it does happen. All right. So you're in defense now. We have about 6.5 minutes left in the game. Can I fast forward? Okay. Alright, there we go. So, we're back, and we are on defense on Anubis. Is there energy? Ooh, a Pharah. There you go. There you go. Awesome. So you use the Pharah. You got yourself 30 energy. You're not going to get 2 rockets out of the Pharah every time. Sometimes you only get 1. And in that regard, you're fine. If you had waited, you might have been able to get the Fire Strike from the Reinhardt. And I've shown you guys this like a couple of times. But you can stand behind your Reinhardt as the Fire Strike comes through. And you can barrier both of you. And you get 100 energy. Just off of 1 Fire Strike instantaneously. Awesome. I really recommend trying to do that. It takes a lot of experience. It's rather difficult to do, but totally worth it. It's really nice to just get to 100 energy and be done with it. Instead of struggling like, yeah, I'm at 50 energy, I'm at 60, I'm at 70. In this regard, you're just good to go from the bat. Wow, that must suck. So Zarya should do... Oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? No, you jump straight forward. Alright, there you go. Okay, so... I need to make a video on the jumps on Anubis. But yeah, basically, you kind of got the jump eventually. Good try in predicting the landing of the Genji. Unfortunately, you guessed wrong. It happens. Good right click. Your barrier wasn't really effective. You need to kind of seek out the rockets a little bit more. Just kind of like literally run into them. That may is in a really strange spot, actually. You can actually get to where that Pharah is, by the way. I'll try. Yeah, I'll also have to make a video on the jumps on Anubis. All right, so you heard one very important audio cue that lasted for maybe a fraction of a second. Their Reinhardt has ult. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. You're gonna need it as you defend the point. Hopefully you can. This Pharah has actually been a really big problem. A lot of teams are very susceptible to flankers, especially in solo queue, like when things aren't very coordinated at all. Why, hello there, Lucio. Okay, I'm not going to be mad at you for not finishing up a kill on a Lucio that's speed boosting. It's always relatively difficult to do. Yeah, I just kind of like recognize that it's very difficult to pull off. Whatevs. Alright, I would be resetting right now, to be honest. Like, I would get on the stairs and walking up to the platform instead of staying on the ground. This is not an ideal place to be in. The reason is that the enemy team can rotate and go through the right, or yeah, for you, the right side. And they can get really good positioning on you. That being said, I've held this location sometimes. You're just very vulnerable on the ground. Like, the enemy can speed boost on you and kill you really quickly, with or without barrier, with or without high energy. I don't know if there's anybody on your team that you can combo your Graviton with. At worst, your Reinhardt can just swing at it. So you combo with Mei. Looks like she wants it. Good. Alright, so Genji Reflect is down. You guys, like, normally I would say you guys want to back up and go to point. But Anubis is very weird in the fact that this is literally the only spot that you can get through the first choke. You can go above, but it's one of these 2 doors or above the 2 doors, which is just like, from a design perspective, doesn't really make any sense. You know, like, you're stuck. I don't know. It's like an overall design philosophy in Overwatch. One that I kind of disagree with. I just feel like flanking should be more viable. And the reason that it isn't as viable is because the map doesn't, like, most maps are not very flankable. You go to something like Eichenwald, and that map is super flankable. And I love that map for it. Like, it's possible to not assault as like a solid, 6v6 team fight kind of situation. And that's one thing that I really like about Eichenwald, but we're on Anubis. Okay. So, wait, where did his hammer down go? I don't know. Whatever. So, you Graviton as the enemy team is... What? As the enemy team is pushing in, you Graviton. I have literally no idea why that D.Va ulted. That Pharah is bleeding. Basically, like, this is kind of like a death sentence for enemy teams. When you're, like, at under a minute left and people just start bleeding for no reason, like, you could regroup and try to push twice as 6 with under a minute to go. And a lot of teams don't do that. And the problem with that is if you go in 1-by-1, you're obviously going to lose. Like, there's no way you're going to fight, 1v6. And then you're going to give the enemies ult. So make sure you're always grouping. It's literally the most important thing. Like, if you can just get your team to group in ranked, like, reliably, you're going to win, like, a ton of matches. Using ults wisely is just an added bonus. I don't know where that Genji is going. Okay. Well, you're at high energy anyway. Most of the team is dead. It looks like you're going to get a shutout on the first point, which is awesome. Chasing the Pharah down. Good tracking. It's not bad at all. And congrats. You've done it. So, I think... Let's see. What do I want you to work the most on after watching this? Reset to the higher ground. In higher MMR or higher SRs. People are going to be pushing this ground and they'll be able to kill you really fast. You're very lucky that you didn't get pushed by anybody. Your barriers need to improve a little bit. Just make sure that you're going and, like, running into the rockets, or if you see a fire strike glowing around the corner, that you turn the corner, you barrier, and you eat the fire strike. Obviously, you don't want to get your ult reflected or eaten by D.Va. When you shot it on the last point on the first time, there's really dicey ult. I can almost guarantee I wouldn't have done the same thing. Like, my reaction time is at the point where I can guarantee you I'd be able to delete the ult. I've done it. Like, at that distance, it's like not hard to do. So, do be careful with your ults. You did get wiped by the Pharah because your ult got reflected. And that was the first push into last. And when you get your first push stopped, going into, like, any 2 CP map or any, like, I guess at the end of any payload map where the enemy team can just kind of, like, stall out, it's very possible that they stop your push. Or your momentum is just, like, starts to crumble. And regaining the momentum is very difficult. So do make sure that, like, your first push is the most effective one that you can possibly do, even if that means waiting and getting some ults. I think that's kind of it. So barriers need to be worked on a little bit, making sure that you really do utilize the Pharah rockets, the Reinhardt fire strikes. Positioning, I want you to be looking at getting the upper ground. Refine your ult positioning. Don't shoot it into a Genji that's reflecting, or shooting it near a D.Va that you know could possibly have any defense matrix at all. And then obviously just the normal work on tracking, work on your right mouse, your grenade placement. It's all pretty stock stuff. Overall, I think you did a good job. Obviously, it seemed like a pretty good game for you, so well done. And that will conclude the VOD review.